turn now for the last one to number 122. His way with thee. Thank you, ma'am. Teresa. All right. Y'all have to bear with me. I'm coming down with some bronchitis. Oh, man. But okay. Was am. Sound like you need one of them Z-packs. Have you ever had one of them Z-packs? Huh? You've had one of them Z-packs? Zithromycin? No, I don't need that now. Don't want it right now. All right. Okay, we are here. I'm going to finish. Well, wait a minute. Did I turn my... No. Okay, am I on there? Okay. I'm going to finish reading some of these emails. We get emails from all over the world since we are streaming on the internet 24 hours a day, everywhere there's internet, from India to England, all over Europe, all over Africa, down in South America, in Malaysia, the South Sea Islands. People are watching us. And I'm going to read to you, I got here a comment, a YouTube comment. Of course, we're on TV in about 250 towns and cities. And Dan Poi, P-O-I, writes to us about the 1,000 years, the 70th week of Daniel, 70 weeks, 3.5 years, 1,260 days, 42 months. He writes, think you're interesting. Not many preachers so detailed as you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Need to hear that. And then Eric, Jenny, and Erica Neves from Orlando, Florida. They write to us, and they say they were down there in that hurricane. Hi, Pastor Brown and Mary. First of all, thanks for your email, Pastor Brown and Mary. Well, thanks to God, we are doing good. Hurricane Irma caused only minor damages to our home in Orlando. We never lost power or water. Nevertheless, our relatives in Puerto Rico are going through rough times after Hurricane Maria devastated the island. They have no electricity, no water, no internet, and this situation will last for several months for them in the island. The airport is working at a limited capacity also, but thanks to God, little by little, we are receiving a text message here and there from them letting us know that they are not hurt, letting us know that they are okay. Pastor Brown and Mary, please believe this. God have being used Pastor Brown's teaching so we don't lose our faith in Jesus Christ throughout all these trials. My family and I have been going through a lot since after I lost my job. My mother lost her apartment due to HOA, misuse of the monies. Then my mother has also been declared with dementia, so I cannot work to be able to take care of her. What am I doing is some Uber when I can. On top of that, now all these storms hit us. It's like getting hit from all angles at the same time. Yet Pastor Brown and Mary, we have faith in the powerful, all-knowing God who actively plan and control every single event in our lives. From time to time, we might feel abandoned, but we know that He is acting according to beyond our understanding will, and we know that He is there holding our hands. He is using all of these events to shape us according to what He wants for us. Well, it's great that people can understand that. So once again, Pastor Brown, your teachings have been and are crucial to me and my family. May God continue blessing you and your family and your Grace and Truth ministry that do so much good to chosen children of God. We appreciate you and love you very much. I apologize that I could not send you a contribution this month to your ministry, but as soon as I can, I will. Don't worry about that. You're going through enough as it is. On behalf of my wife, Jenny, and my daughter, Erica, I thank you with all my heart. In this world, we really need more men like you, Pastor Brown, and more women like Mary. Please keep us in your prayers. God bless. Eric, Jenny, and Erica Neves from Orlando, Florida. We love you guys. Well, what a letter. Just breaks your heart to see the things they're going through. And Lorinda Shellard writes to us from Ocala, Florida. Hi, by the grace of God, I am well, and I thank all there at Grace and Truth for their concern. I would like to come up to visit the chili cookout. I'm seriously considering it. Hope to meet y'all. Lorinda Shellard in Ocala, Florida. We love you, Lorinda. Dan Hawk. Dan is down in Palm Coast, Florida. He just sends, hello, all is well. God looked after us. Thank you, Dan Hawk, Palm Coast, Florida. And then Sandra Dean writes from Memphis. Good morning, Brother Jim. I hope you all are doing well. I just started listening to some of your 70-week messages. It is so interesting. Thank you for such in-depth teaching. Still hope to come visit. God bless you all. Sandra Dean in Memphis. We love you, Sandra. Sarah Blackman in Utah writes to us. Sarah's mom used to live here, and that was home, and they moved back there. Hello, Jim, Mary, and Church. Just wanted to write and check in with you guys. How's everyone there? Mom, Daniel, and I are all doing okay here. Thank you for continuing to send tapes. I can't thank you enough. I love you guys. I really had hoped to visit this year, but financially it was just impossible. God willing, you will see you guys next year. We love you all. Agape and Phil, Sarah Blackman. Sarah, we love you. Tell your mom and everybody hey. And then Alexander Boiteng, he is in Ghana, West Africa. He wants to move over here, but he knows he's having a hard time. He don't have a job. He doesn't have any money. And we don't have any place for him to stay. But this is Alexander from Ghana, West Africa. My dear Jim, how are you doing? I must ask because you are important to me. Well, they make me feel important when they write from overseas. Would like you to know that I have just received the 3 DVDs you mailed on September the 2nd. And as usual, I am starting watching them. The idiomatic expressions you started teaching is something that West Africa Examination Council sometimes add to our final English language exams. For the sake of that, many students in West Africa here fail the English language because it is not our native language. When I come, I will have a lot to talk about your teachings and life in Ghana or Africa. I must visit American Embassy in Accra, our capital town, which is 200 miles away from Mampong, where I am living, to pick up a form so I can get a PIN number to visit a visa form. Please do not be offended that you cannot support me while in the United States. If I would like to stay, I know it hurts you greatly, but have no worries at all. It is truism. My salary is $120. That makes life difficult for me. I guess so. However, all what I need is that I would like to come and see you at Grace and Truth Ministries and get back to my country. May the Lord continue to bless you. I hope you have by now got my picture I sent September 6th. May the Lord continue to bless you to carry on the Great Commission. This is very kind of Tom, as he sends me emails and links to fill a form. Alexander Boiteng, Ghana, West Africa. We love you, Alexander. You just keep on. And then Dan Poy writes another time and says, what do you mean by blood baptism? That's a long subject. We'll send you some DVDs on that. Where did you get that info about this? I've got dozens of books that talks about blood baptism, spiritual baptism. One of them is the McClintock and Strong over here. You just look up blood baptism. It was considered a martyrdom. When you were martyred, they call that a blood baptism. I know you get some from Strong's. How are you baptized in blood? Well, baptized comes from baptizo, meaning to cover, and bapto, meaning to stain and to die. He's washed us from our sins in his own blood. That's a spiritual baptism. What is the history? Also, what about the Ethiopian eunuch? I explain all that in my series. We'll send you some things on that. We love you, brother. And then Seji Limited writes, concerning the doctrine of devils is the charismatic doctrines. Seji Limited writes, so reassuring to know that there are still Christians in the world. Thank you so much. We need to hear that. And Jean Lavier writes, down in Houston, this is where I'm located. Thought I'd send this update in Buffalo Bayou. Jean Lavier, Houston, Texas, and she shows this mess here. Neighborhood residents worry about erosion in this bayou. They got everything down there they got bayous, which are little connecting rivers throughout the parts of town they can put barges on and transmit things from one place to the other. And Barbara Norkin writes to us from New York City. Dear Jim, Agape and Phileo, this is Barbara Norkin in New York City, New York. Thank you for your perseverance. I thank God for all the understanding He has given you. To use an idiom, I was pleased as punch when you shared in lesson 3734 Sunday morning how we were always sheep from the foundation of the world. I have always known this too. We have just been lost, and how we are sheep, all others are goats. I've been recently asking people, are you a sheep? That's funny. Are you a sheep? When they comment on the shirts I wear, like God doesn't love everybody, only the elect, many other shirts I have ordered. Now, when you have time, could you please consider addressing Revelation 12:7-10 about the war in heaven and Satan's angels in verse 9. Chapter 12 of Revelation is a panoramic view. It comes from the word pan, which is the God of all, or God of the roads, or God of all things. Panoramic means an entire view of all time. That's what Revelation 12 is. When a third of the angels were cast out of heaven by Michael the archangel, the time period of that has to be between verses 1 and 2 of Genesis 1, because in the beginning God created. Created in that verse 1 is a righteous word. It's the word bara. It comes from the word berith, which is the word covenant. It's righteous. And then the earth becomes without form and void. If Satan is cast into this earth, and the great sphere that we live in called the universe, and the stars are not clean, and man is not clean, and the earth is not clean, and the moon is not clean, that means everything that's made out of this corruption, when Satan was cast into this, that's why God's going to have to destroy it all one day. Thank you, dear brother. Love all my true family. Just one sheep in the flock waiting for Jesus. See enclosed photo up front and back of one of my shirts. Hope you approve, which to me sums it up. You should see the business cards next time. Have grace and truth info on them. I hand them out. Barbara Norkin in New York City. And she's got a shirt here. It says, God is doing everything. He's in full control, and has a menorah there. 7 candlesticks. And then I don't know what else she's got in here. Oh, she got on the back another shirt. There's no free will, only God's will is being done. No one gets to vote on it. God does not need man's opinion. That's exactly true. Thank you for those. Thank you for that encouragement. I appreciate that. I think that's all the. Now I got a couple more, but I won't read them right now. I'll read this one. Chris Jackson writes to us, and Chris says he's out in Reno, Nevada. I write a lot, but I'm hungry to learn. Question: since I'm late in the truth in relation to you, brother, if I were to die tomorrow, it could happen. I would be perfected standing before the Lord, right or wrong. Well, sin cannot go into the presence of the Lord, and you would be perfected, certainly. This reminds me of Jesus' words, the parable of the laborers. Some started at morning, some noon, some late in the day, in the evening. Excuse me. And that's in Matthew, the 20th chapter. It's talking about a man goes out to hire laborers, and he hires in the morning for a penny a day. A penny was a denarius, and that was a day's labor wages for a slave or for a Roman soldier. And then in the middle of the day, he goes out and hires some more men for a penny a day. And then in the evening, he goes out and hires some more for a penny a day when the job's about done. And the Pharisees start complaining. what they're saying is, we were here first. We should get the biggest piece of steak. We should get more eternal life than they get. And Jesus said, many are called, but few are chosen. That word chosen gives you the answer. The word chosen is the word eklektos. It is elect. The call goes out to the world, but only a few were chosen. God gave them grace. That's what it's talking about. They were called before we were as Gentiles. And they're saying, well, we deserve more than they deserve because we were here first. Selfish. What it's talking about. All right. Now, I'm not going to read the letters. I get so many things. I wish I could read everybody, but I can't. I'd be up here all day long reading. All right. Okay. Give me a drink of water. Y'all have to excuse me. I started feeling this a couple of days ago. Let me put this over here. And let me give you the announcements. We are on TV every night on Channel 49, Comcast, for an hour and a half, except for Sunday night, we're on twice for 3 hours straight. And then we're on Wednesday night for 3 straight hours, starting at 8:30. And then we're also on Hendersonville Station, public access, 3 o'clock Tuesday evening and 7 o'clock Thursday night. Now, we've got people that we try to help. We got a lot of poor people. I've been poor in my life. I was raised poor, very poor. I lived in open back porches. My father'd be some preacher at a little country church, and he'd drop a tarpaulin down so the weather didn't get on me and my older brother. But it was cold. We'd have to cover up with lots of blankets and get up in the morning, run into the kitchen, get in front of a stove, trembling. And I started buying everything, all my spending money from the time I was 12. I bought all my clothes since then. I bought all my jeans, my underwear, my socks, my belts, everything. If I went to a 10-cent movie to see Roy Rogers or Gene Autry or Rex Allen or Tex Ritter, that was John Ritter's father, he was a star, believe it or not. Not much of one, I guess. But I had to pay for it. I went out and worked, and I worked my way into high school. I worked in grocery stores, sacking groceries, started off making 50 cents an hour, and I would work when I was in high school at least 32 hours a week. I thought everybody did that. You didn't? Oh, that's what I did. And I paid my way through that, paid my way through the first year of college, and then I couldn't go back because I didn't have any money. And so I know what it's like to be poor and live in some really bad situations. We'd be driving up to an old beat-up clapboard church. You know what a clapboard at the side of it has got asbestos shingles on it. You know what that is? And there'd be Johnson grass this high on the side of the building, and that would be the Sunday school rooms in the back, and it was setting up on blocks. And Daddy would say, "We're going to live there." Oh gosh, not again. That went on in my life, and we had some pretty poor times. I know what it's like to have to work to make my way. I've always had a strong work ethic, never quit. I am a never say die person, never stopping. And these people need our help. Some are widow ladies that are disabled, got all kinds of people in a struggle. We got people like Mike Pinion over in Knoxville area. Michael's been in prison. He hurt us when he was in prison. This has converted his whole life. And Mike's got some problems, real bad health problems. He's on dialysis 3 times a week. And if something doesn't happen soon, he might not make it. And be praying for Michael. And we need to give him a little money each month. And we're going to keep doing that. We got a lot of people with real sad stories. So if you want to help the needy, make your check to Grace and Truth and put needy on the bottom of it. Every bit of that goes to them. And then we help Scott and Dee in their endeavors to move their mission ministry from Ecuador up here to Grace and Truth. And they meet on Tuesday nights. And they meet Tuesday nights so they can teach all these things that we teach. Christmas is pagan, God doesn't love everybody, predestination is true. And they teach it in Spanish. And we're hoping to find many other avenues in Spanish for them. So if you want to help Scott and Dee, just make your check to Grace and Truth and put mission on the bottom of it. And every bit of that and more goes to them. All right. We got our picnic coming up very shortly. We'll be picnicking, not picnic, but chili cookout just in a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, down here at Rockland Recreation Center, just about 1.5 miles from the church here, down on the lake. And everybody that's out there, you're going to come visit with us, make your plans to get a room. You've got on our website, graceandtruth.net, we've got names of hotels and phone numbers that are right here on Main Street. And make preparations to come. All right. Well, let's go to the Lord in prayer. And Glenn, you want to pray for us, please?
Father, thank you for allowing us to be here today. Thank you for Pastor. Thank you for the sheep, God. Thank you for the lost sheep, Father. Thank you, God, for ordering our steps. We're grateful for the message here today, Father. We also pray that you just continue to keep us in the way, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
2 minutes.
Turn your cell phones off or we'll get you.
40 stripes, save one.
40 stripes.
What do you say?
40 stripes, save one.
What?
40 stripes, save one.
Okay. We'll beat you with a wet noodle, is what we'll do. It is the most disruptive thing in the world to be preaching and all of a sudden ring. It's like I totally go blank anytime a phone goes off. It's like,
Jim, that color top looks very nice on you.
huh?
That color looks very nice on you.
Looks like what?
Looks very nice on you.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. I wish I could read all your letters. I just don't have the time. I'm going to have Mary start going through them, and some of them are very encouraging. Just, I didn't know you were here. I found you finally. I knew I was looking for something. I didn't know what it was. When I saw you, I said, this is it. And it is, because it's the truth.